Can you hear me? Oh, give me a minute. Where the hell is that coming from? Okay, say something now. Okay, that sounds better. Am I too low, or is that good? I'm okay. Yeah. It's like, I don't know how to work this Discord thing, so I'm hoping everything is just pretty straightforward. Yeah. I can do that.
All right. Greetings, my friends. Let's see who we've got here in the chat. Tim Dog, Jay, Gloria, Outlaw, Noctis, Robin Hood, Nonification, Phantom Knight, Jessica, Ken, Obsidian Flame, Lex. Greetings, my friends. I have a rare and special treat for you all today, and that is the return, the triumphant return, I might add, of my dear old friend, Nyx.
Hi, guys.
Many of you probably remember Nyx from back in the days when she used to help co-host this Mr. X Dreams live show way before the days of the face reveal and webcam and screen sharing and all that stuff, back when it was just Google Hangouts, and that was pretty much it. But now we've both upgraded our game a little bit, and we're bringing you a couple of very interesting stories, and Nyx is going to do her thing and help me keep track of all you folks in the chat. And as you all, well know, she's an excellent foil for me bouncing ideas and always has some really interesting stuff to add to the conversation. So,
Aww.
Please welcome Nyx back into the fold here. So before we get into the stories, I want to know, Nyx, what you've been up to in the past,
Oh my God.
what, year? Since you've been on the show?
It has been, hasn't it? Oh my God.
I think
so. Let's see. I haven't really been doing much. I started school again, which is something I really never thought I would do. So that's been a thing. But
Very
other than
nice.
that, yeah, I haven't really been doing a whole lot. That's pretty much taking up all of my time. So
Oh, I bet. What are you in school for right now?
right now it's medical billing and coding.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty lucrative. That's a pretty lucrative field, as far as I understand.
From what I can understand, well, yeah, it is. But what I really like about it is after I get all my certifications and I've worked in either a hospital or an office for, I don't know, a year or two, just get some experience under me, I can actually do this from home. And that's what I wanted.
Oh, hell
so.
yeah. That's the stuff right there. Let's see. Pamela Rainey, Bad Vibe Storytelling. What's going on, my man? Nino, Sloth, LOA Blue, Jessica. Did I greet Jessica? Yeah, I think you just popped in. Hello there, my friend. Leanne. Let's see, who else? Lurch Logan, as always. Low Lightning. Got most of the regulars here today. And we got some pretty interesting stories I'm going to share with you guys in just a minute. Hunter Williams and Blossom of 77, Lionheart. Greetings, my friends. Myriad or Myriad. How do you pronounce that, my friend? Type it out phonetically if you can, just so I don't sound like a fool trying to say your name. Yeah, it looks like some people do recognize you there, Nyx.
Yeah, a few.
It's always a pleasure. I forgot how pleasant you are to listen to during a stream.
Really?
All right.
Pamela, sweetie, that is not a good thing. Do you see that?
I drink bong water. Oh, well, I don't really know what to say to that.
I've actually had
I
a
drink
similar
water from my own
experience.
face. Similar experience, what, drinking bong water?
Not exactly that. Me and my cousins, we were all together, and our uncle, he dips, and
Mm.
you know he has his beer
Oh,
bottle,
no.
and yeah, and when everybody went to bed, we started collecting all the bottles and pouring what was left into one so we could like taste it,
Mm.
and we forgot about his habit,
Mm.
so that was interesting.
Dip spit.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most vile liquids out there. Oh, my goodness.
Yes, and probably why I do not drink beer to this day. So
Yeah. Well, I think he did you a favor there.
yeah, probably.
Jessica D, thank you so much. $10 donation. Much appreciated, my friend. Even before we get into the stories, that is fantastic. Arrow BZ 1988. Hello there, my friend. Yeah. That, yeah, dip spit. That's not what you want in your body ever. That's
Yeah,
disgusting.
we were young though.
Okay. That fixes everything, huh?
Well, you can forgive stupidity when, you know, you're at a certain age. So,
Um, yeah, maybe. Yeah, if you're really young or really old, it seems you get a pass. Nancy M must have been traumatizing. Yes, I bet.
mm,
So, uh, two interesting stories. They're both pretty short. I just finished frantically writing them because I had a long day, a very long day, and people in my line of work, people like to wait until Friday evening or Friday afternoon to do something that requires my response or my attention, and that's what happened today. That's all I'll say about that. Somebody really late in the day just decided to act a fool, and they had to call me, and I had to deal with it. But that's all in the past now for you guys. We've got two stories. One of them from someone who usually is in the chat here, may or may not be showing up at some point tonight. One of our fellow dreamers named Gina, and the other one, it's a very short one, but it is from our friend and fellow dreamer Lex, who was actually in the chat. I have some pretty interesting insights and experiences somewhat relatable to both of these stories, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about each one. Me, you guys, Nix, we're all going to get in on this, and we'll keep it moving from there. I'm also thinking about possibly playing a little bit more Resident Evil 2 on a separate stream after this, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's right. Noctis is Gina, and she changed her name, and always throws me for a loop there. Call the cleaner Mr. X. Yeah, maybe. Chris Powell, greetings, my friend. I think you're the man, not me. I'm a man. So, let's switch over to Storytime mode and get into this first story. Hello, Mr. X. It's me, Gina. I mentioned a while back that I was once in a coma and had some bizarre dreams. Back in the winter of 2004, I was working full-time at a well-known diner in Phoenix, Arizona. Graveyard shift. I was also going to school with a full class load and spent every other waking moment fulfilling my duties as a single mother. Needless to say, I had little to no time for myself, and my body suffered for it. It all started when I came down with a cold around Thanksgiving time. By New Year's, I was still sick and getting progressively worse. I ended up in the hospital for 12 days with a full-blown case of pneumonia. They did a lung tap to try to culture the bacteria, looking to find the right antibiotic, as I was not responding to the one I was on. Around the 12th day, I was discharged. Still sick, but a little better, but it didn't last long. Within 36 hours, I was back in the ER sicker than ever. The lung tap had caused an abscess in my lung, which now needed surgery. After the surgery, they were having a hard time getting my lungs to reinflate, so I was put on a ventilator. As far as I'm told, at some point, I allegedly tried to pull out the endotracheal tube and IVs. They had no choice but to put me into an induced coma. Upon further investigation, I've been able to match parts of these dreams to things that were really happening to my body while I was in the coma. Full disclosure, I've read way too many horror novels in my life to ever be locked inside my own head for any amount of time, but that's just what happened. The first dream I remember started with me in the hospital bed and doctors talking over me. I was trying to talk back to them, but they didn't hear or couldn't hear me. A man who looked like Bob Hoskins, with a giant phallus tattooed on his forehead, came up to my bed. He took me to a place with low beds and pillows all over the floor, and sheer curtains everywhere, and set me down, telling me to rest. The place looked like some sort of harem. The next thing I know, I'm in a room with many other women at desks, working as phone sex operators for some reason. Some of the people were on camera and being told what to do. I was informed that someone wanted to watch me take a bath. I refused, but was told that if I didn't comply, my little sister would have to take my place. Fun fact, I don't have a sister. Suddenly, I found myself in a tub that looked a lot like a cement animal trough. After a minute or so, someone comes up to me and dumps pig's ears into my bath. That made me even more uncomfortable, obviously. I began crying and asking to get out, but still being threatened with the whole little sister bit. I don't know why I believed them. Next, they came back with pig heads and put several of those in the tub with me. I freaked out and started to try climbing out of the tub, but it was extremely cold. The last thing I remember was submerging myself in the bloody water in the tub. So now, to connect some of what happened to what was really happening in my body, or to my body rather, the nurses had on the TV in my room for auditory stimulation. I can only assume that at some point, a movie called American Virgin came on. I think it was that particular movie because it starred Bob Hoskins with, of all things, a phallic tattoo on his forehead. I hadn't seen the movie at the time, but maybe it was playing on the TV. Later on, I was bathed, wiped down with cool towels in order to try and lower a fever that I had developed. They also brought a standing oscillating fan to blow on me to keep me cool, which explained that frigid feeling when I tried to get out of the tub. Still no idea about the harem or phone sex elements, let alone the pig heads. Depending on what medications I was on, I spent most of my time unsure whether I was experiencing the real world or not. I even once could hear my mother speaking to me, but I couldn't respond. I couldn't even move a single muscle, not even open my eyes. I was totally trapped in my mind. It was truly terrifying. Anyway, Mr. X, I hope to hear from you soon. Gina. So, Gina, I have a couple of questions for you since you're in the chat. Is your mother alive? Or was she at the time? If you can give me an answer on that, because that actually would, that information would add a layer of intrigue to this that I'd like to know. I'd like to know about that. Let's see, I think we've got some new people in the chat. Lori Wakel. Greetings, my friend. Let's see here. The hoodie looks dope. Bad vibe storytelling. Who's got a hoodie? Where'd you see that hoodie, Bad Vibes? Let me know. Yes, pneumonia is no good. Nobody likes pneumonia. Okay, let me see here. Leanne asks, do you have the Wolf Watcher in a mug? I think so. If you go to teespring.com/stores/Mr. X Dream Store, I believe that the Wolf Watcher is on a mug. I just don't have it yet. Lacey, greetings. You love going to sleep to my voice? That is fantastic. And let's see who else. Cindy, hello there. Good to see you. Even if you're late, no worries. I won't hold that against you. Okay, I think Gina said her mother was alive at the time. That's interesting. I wonder if your mother came to visit you during some point in that story. Yes, and she's still alive. That's good. Axeman, greetings, my friend. The video is live. When you guys are done with this live stream, matter of fact, I won't be mad at you if you want to duck out of this live stream for a second, go to Let's Read's channel and check out the collab that we have with Axeman, animated 5 2-sentence horror stories. Freaking mind-bending, phenomenal stuff. You guys need to check that out. If you don't do it right now, do it later. Regina Brown, you're wearing one of my hoodies. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. I don't think you've sent me a picture, have you, Regina Brown? Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot I put that little ad for my clothing. I'm forgetting my own ads show up on my little Storytime video there. That's how much I care. So,
someone wants to know what design is on your shirt.
Oh, my shirt, like the one I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
This is the Wolf Watcher design. One of my favorites. When I asked which one should I buy of the new designs, that was the one that this was the one that got the number one most votes. All right, so I'm gonna greet a couple more people. Chuki L, hello there, my friend. Goth Angel Foster 55. Awesome. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. So, we just spoke about some interesting coma dreams experienced by my friend, fellow dreamer, Philia Noctis, aka Gina. Got this email from her not too long ago after I asked her to send me an email about it. She mentioned it on a stream not too long ago. And now here we are talking about it. So Nix, one of the things that I wanted to discuss surrounding this was how strange the relationship between when we're in these kind of in between states, like we're either falling asleep or on the cusp of sleep and dreaming, or we're going under from some kind of chemical anesthetic. It's so interesting how the real world and your real environment outside of you can influence what your brain shows you in your subconscious. What are your thoughts on that or on this story?
Well, actually, just like the experience itself, I do that to myself all the time. It's
Mm,
like when I'm going to sleep, I'll listen to a movie that I know by heart or a podcast or something like that. Whatever it is that I'm wanting to dream of that night, I'll
mm,
find something that's kind of close relation to it. And as I'm drifting off, you'll start getting those images in your head. And as you actually reach REM sleep, start dreaming, I don't know if other people do, but I have a dream that is sort of like that. Like I'll either be, that type of person in that movie and it plays out to, whatever my own interest is, or like the podcasts. I've been listening to Bigfoot podcasts,
mm.
Bigfoot hunters, research, stuff like that. And the past 3 or 4 nights, I've been trekking out in the woods in search of Bigfoot. So it's been pretty cool.
Wow.
So I actually like the story. As far as like chemical, like medication and stuff like that, I went in for a surgery one time and I was starting to get a little antsy because the doctor was late, so they went ahead and put me under. But right before, the nurse that was there, she said, "I'm Veronica and I'm going to help you through this." And as I was waking up, of course, when you're put into like the twilight or a full,
Hmm.
knockout or whatever, you don't remember anything. But as I was coming out of it, it was like all these images kind of rushed to me, and it was like she was bathed in this white light, which it was bright in the room,
Wow.
and all I could think of was, "I love you so much," because, I was so scared, and I actually vocalized that as I was coming out of it. So,
Wow.
yeah, that's cool.
It's funny to hear you describe it as twilight because that's to me that's always been the way I think of that in between state. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a natural comparison, really. Goodness
Well,
gracious.
like when you go to the dentist and they like half knock you out, that is
Yeah.
a twilight. So
Yeah.
that's what they actually call it. So yeah, not far
Okay.
off.
So that's really a thing. I thought I was making that up. I thought I was just being creative and special, but I guess not.
Well, it was probably sent to you on some kind of wavelength, but no,
Yeah.
it's a real thing.
Collective consciousness or something cool like that.
Yeah.
Goth Angel Sinner says, "Gotta say, I love the leggings on the store. I love them too. I almost wish they made leggings my size, but no, not really. I would never wear leggings. My legs are too hairy for that." But let me see here. Yeah, those leggings are pretty. They do look pretty cool if I do say so myself. Outlaw Immortals. I got a classic T-shirt now. Oh, Element 105. So you did send me a picture recently, my friend. That's going to be added. That's the old school design too. That's the original, like the original 16-year-old Mr. X dream design that I did along. Well, damn, I was 16 years old when I designed it, but that was more than 16 years ago by
I
a
think I might have
few
missed
years.
something. Cookie L. I need answers to. What do you
Hmm.
need answers for? Like,
Hmm.
retype it. I'll get it this time, I promise.
Okay, Leanne, let me ask you. You said there's no Wolf Watcher mug on Teespring. If there is one, if there was one, would you buy it? Let me know. And if you would, then I will put one on there. Because now that I think about it, this this would be a pretty cool design for a mug, I think. Sure, why not? Rebecca. Hello there, Rebecca. If you guys haven't seen my Twitter, Rebecca is I don't know if she wants me to mention this right now, but started a GoFundMe because of some medical expenses that she's been dealing with, and it's been very difficult for her and her family. So I've been sharing that and trying to spread the word on that. Anyone who can spare a couple of dollars or at least share that, go to my Twitter, and it's a couple of posts down. You'll see her. Matter of fact, I'll go online right now and pin that to the top so you can see it more easily. But if you could just go and retweet that, and any support you could manage to help Rebecca out, a fellow dreamer, no less, would be greatly appreciated.
Some people don't have Twitter and they're wanting you to link it in the chat.
I will do that right now.
I'll tell you what, though, about the whole mug situation. I typically, if I'm going to buy something from somebody, like their logo or whatever, I will go for a mug or something like that, because t-shirts tend to not fit me as well as, they should. So there's been many times that I've gotten the size that I would normally wear and it's been way too small up top. So I just have to give it to my sister.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, other things other than t-shirts
Oh, wait a
is
minute.
great.
What's the subtext here? I feel like you're trying to send some type of message.
No, I'm just saying, shirts are problematic at times.
Just stating facts, huh?
Yeah.
Roger that. All right. Here's the link to fellow dreamer Rebecca's GoFundMe. If you guys could check that out, share it, whatever you can do would be appreciated. So, man, it's been a long day. I've got one more story, very short, and it comes from our friend and fellow dreamer, Lex. And it's going to, and the reason why I'm sharing it right now is because it connects to something that happened to me in my childhood. Back in the days when I lived on good old 5th Street. If you guys were listening to last week's stream when I talked about the white-eyed children story, I believe that was last week. Same kids involved, same group, same little, gang on the block, the crew, the homies, and we did something really stupid. And it led to an experience not very far off from this NDE that we're about to talk about. So, let me make sure I'm all caught up. Looks like I'm lagging a little bit for whatever reason. Stand by, guys. Okay, I think we're good. Hey there, B. Thanks for joining us. We are about to get into this near-death experience with Lex. Very short, very sweet, but connects to something really interesting that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Story mode, engage. Oh, Lurch Logan. If you can't donate, just maybe share it on something if you have any social media, stuff like that. That should be fine. All right. Dear Mr. X, I have a quick story for you regarding the time I almost died. I'm not sure how old I was when it happened, but I think I may have been around 5 or 6 years old. My cousin took me to a local swimming pool. I wasn't a very strong swimmer back then, but from what I can remember, I was holding on to the side of the pool, making my way to the deeper end where my cousin was. After a few minutes, I started to let go of the edge. I figured I would try and swim out into the water and back, testing my limits. Unfortunately, I wasn't ready. After a few mildly successful ventures, I didn't make it back to the rim of the pool on my final attempt. The last thing I remember seeing was the lifeguard standing right above me. And then, everything went black. Instantly, I found myself standing in a vast, empty void as far as I could see. I don't remember being scared or anything like that, just a little confused. I'm sorry guys, my bat phone is ringing. 1 second.
Well, that story was creepy anyway. It's like I have this really horrible, horrible fear of anything that like restricts my breathing, like drowning, any type of suffocation. That right there, that is my greatest fear. Yeah, I'm still here.
All
We were
right.
talking, but I don't think anybody was listening.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. That was my work phone. And I am not the type of person who can ignore a call from work. Alright, so I'll start the last paragraph over. Instantly, and this is the important part, I found myself standing in a vast, empty void. Darkness as far as I could see. I don't remember being scared or anything like that, just a little confused as to where I was. The next thing I knew, I saw a ball of light in the distance that moved in an S pattern. When it got to me, I came to with someone giving me CPR. So that's the end of the story. It's pretty abrupt, but like I said earlier, I didn't really have time to write these out very fully. But the important stuff was there. The thing that I wanted to talk about was being in that kind of void, that realm of darkness when your brain is deprived of oxygen. It's what I'll tell you what I did. First of all, Lex, if you're still here, I think you are still here because I saw you comment a minute ago. How long do you feel like you were in that void? And yes, Gina, drowning is probably one of the most terrifying things, other than dying by being plunged feet first into hot lava.
Oh my god.
Or being boiled in oil. Those are probably my top two worst ways of dying, but drowning has got to be up there as well. So Lex, tell me, how long did you felt like it was 10 to 15 minutes?
Oh wow.
That's a long time. That's probably way longer than it actually was in real time. And that's why I asked. Because what happened to me was, it's very interesting. But before we get into that, Nix, do you have any thoughts on this or anything in your experience that you've come across similar to this phenomenon?
No. No. I mean, I've been underwater enough where it was like the panic mode kicks in,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never gotten to the point where I've passed out from anything.
Mm.
I fainted once, but that doesn't count. So
Well, maybe it does. I don't know. I mean, you fainted from what? Was it just exhaustion, or were you
no,
just
oh my
really
god, it was
embarrassed?
so freaking weird. I just learned about exploding head syndrome, and I think it was connected to that.
Hmm.
I mean, have you heard of it? Do you know what it is?
Isn't that some kind of like something related to migraines or something like that?
It's like where you're on. I don't know if you can. I don't know if it happens when people are wide awake, but I know a lot of people say that it happens like right on the cusp of either waking or sleeping, and
Mm-hmm.
you hear like this huge sound, like this
Oh, okay.
ungodly sound, or some people see like flashing lights or something like that, like while their eyes are still closed or whatnot. But
Mm.
with me, I was asleep on the couch. And I thought I just kind of dozed off. I mean, I was just taking a nap or whatever, and it was towards dusk, so it was dark in the house. But all of a sudden, I hear like these three loud bangs on my front door, or what I thought. I mean, I honestly thought the police were getting ready to barge into my house.
Oh
That's
my
what it sounded
gosh.
like. And I got up really quick. I was in the completely relaxed, like my breath was probably shallow at this point. I was fixing to be asleep or I was asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I got up so quickly, my head started to feel like, I don't know, like it was pounding. I could feel the blood rushing. I
Yeah.
don't feel like I was suffocating, but I know I wasn't getting the air that I should have. And then all I could think was, I'm going down. I'm gonna pass out or whatever. And I
Oh.
tried to keep walking. I did. I tried to keep walking because I knew there was something I should be scared of because something woke me up like that.
Hmm.
And I ended up hitting the floor, and it was probably just a couple of seconds, just enough for me to start breathing, to get oxygen going through my body. And I kind of regained consciousness fully, and I looked around and they're like, there's nobody outside. And then I was like, oh my god, did the neighbor's tree fall in the back of my house? So I
Oh
went
wow.
around to the to the back bedroom to look to see if there was like cracks or whatever, because it's the middle of the night, so I'm not going outside.
Mm.
And there was nothing. I don't know what that sound was. So
That's
I,
so
I
weird.
fainted. Yeah, I don't know what it was. So yeah,
That's really bizarre. I think now that you mention that, I have heard of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know what it was, and honestly, this happened maybe 2 years ago, and I just learned about it. So yeah, I just thought I was
Hmm.
crazy.
Well, that's a hell of a thing to have happen and have no idea about it for 2 years. Jeez, poor thing. So, yeah, it looks like a couple of other people have
Yeah.
some sort of experience with that as well. Lurch says, claustrophobia is my biggest fear. That's a legitimate fear. It's one that I didn't know until in the military when I was stuffed into a very small box
Oh
for an
wow.
extended period of time. I still don't know how long I was in there. Probably the only time in my life that I had a actual panic attack.
Oh my
Let's
god.
see.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. Bad Vibe Storytelling says you watched the video on Let's Read. Pretty awesome. Everything that Axeman does is awesome. So you guys definitely need to check that out. I'll try to throw a link to it in the description down below before I close up shop over here. Leanne says worst way of dying: drowning in a septic tank. Mm,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah, that's a
nasty.
good. That's a brutal one. And the crazy thing is the some of those poor people down in India where there's a whole industry of people who basically go into sewers and clean sewage or like search through or root through sewage for whatever reason. I'm not sure how it works, but they have people go down and maybe clear out the sewage buildup and stuff with their bare hands. It's insane. And I'm sure once in a while something goes wrong and those people drown in sewage.
Oh
I
my
would be
god.
willing to bet. Nonification says being eaten alive is the most terrifying. Yeah, that's definitely up there as well. Alex Smith, greetings, my friend. Alex Smith is familiar with exploding head syndrome. So here is what happened to me back in the day. I might have told this story before, but it never Never gets old for me, certainly, and I'm sure there's a couple of people who haven't heard of it. Nino Brown, have a good night, my friend. Thanks for joining us. So, back in the day, there was this thing that kids used to do. It was in the, I guess in the late 90s or mid 90s, where they would do this game where they would have a bunch of kids. There'll be one kid up against a wall. One other kid will put their hands on your chest, and then another kid, like a third kid, would press their hands on your neck, blocking your veins and arteries, blocking blood flow to your brain. And that was fun for us. That's because we didn't have a Nintendo Switch and the things that kids play with these days that take up all their time. We used to go outside and either almost kill things or each other. That's how it was back in the day. And then Pokemon came out, the first one, and that was the end of all that. But
I think that's just a boy thing.
yeah. I don't know what girls
Yeah.
did back in the 90s. I have no idea. I never really saw one. they were very elusive. They just, I don't know, they were like unicorns in my neighborhood anyway. But so one day I decided to be the person who gets suffocated, and I thought it'd be fun. Sleepy time greetings, my friend, if I didn't say hi to you. Oh, Alex, Mullen M, what's up, man? Good to see you. I don't know if Brad was in here. Is Brad in here? Maybe not. I'm not sure. But so, this is what happened to me. Kids put their hands around my neck. Another kid held my chest to prevent me from breathing. And from my perspective, this is what happened. I went to sleep. My vision turned to blackness. And then I was sitting down in a chair, an old rickety wooden chair, as far as I remember. I believe it was wood. And everything around me is darkness, except for one spot, a little bit, maybe 10 feet in front of me. The knockout game. That's what we call, I think that is what it was called. So, and wow, there's a couple of females that are aware of that.
Yeah, surprisingly.
I don't know what circles you guys rolled in, but I've never seen or heard of any girls doing that back in the day. So anyway, in front of me, it's almost like a spotlight coming down on this old rabbit ears tube television on another rickety wooden kind of table looking thing, like maybe a nightstand or something. That TV is showing this image of a white horse running. Slow motion, very slow. And I'm sitting there on this chair watching this horse gallop slowly. Looked epic. And the horse, the image would like be covered in static sporadically once every few seconds. And it seemed like that horse, the image of that horse was like repeating. So it would be partway through a gallop and then start over whenever it would kind of glitch out. And I was there for maybe, it was, realistically speaking, had to be over a minute, 60 seconds. And I was just staring here, contemplating what could that mean? What am I looking at? And it almost seemed like my field of view, it's like I was being pulled into the TV towards that horse. It's a white horse. And then all of a sudden I felt my knees. I felt this pain shooting up from my knees. And I woke up. I was just kind of like groggy, jolted awake. And what had happened was I'd fallen and went straight down and hit the ground on my knees. Because the boys that were holding me and doing the knockout game on me were not strong enough to hold my limp, dead weight body up. And so what happened was that in reality, even though I was experiencing this weird event for over a minute, what happened was I passed out and I immediately fell down and hit my knees, like within 2 seconds. That's because soon as my weight dropped, it just gave way. They might as well not have been standing there trying to hold me up, because they couldn't. I was much bigger than them, which I guess should have been foreseen. And it was almost like a time dilation. Your brain can extend even an instant of time into whatever amount of time it wants. $4.99 from Leanne. Thank you so much, Leanne. I appreciate that very much. Have a good night, my friend. Yeah, so, and the same thing kind of goes with when we dream. I've been trapped in dreams, as I said before, for weeks or months at a time. And in reality, it was only 2 hours. My brain tells me what it wants me to think. Does anyone, this question goes out to Nix and everyone in the chat, have you had any experiences with that type of temporal dilation in your mind, where you know, in your perspective, in your mind, you've gone through an extended period of time, but in reality it was only a relatively minuscule time? Have you ever had anything like that, Nix?
I don't believe so. Not. I mean, I've had dreams where it's been a couple of days in the dream, but I don't think that counts. That's not really.
I think it does, because I mean, unless you don't remember unless you don't really feel like it was contiguous time that you experienced.
No, it was continuous. It was cool, but
yeah, and there you go. That's it. That's exactly it. Because it was probably 8 to 10 hours maximum that you were experiencing that, but it's days in your perception.
It's so weird.
It's all in the brain. Those are some of the things that I hope that one day we'll be able to not only understand, but manipulate to our own ends.
Goth Angel says the horse might represent rebirth. Does a horse represent rebirth in anything?
Maybe, but I
don't think I remember.
I think it's more of the fact that it was repeating, that the image was repeating over and over again.
I don't know. That part of your story just gave me chills, because all I could think of was the ring, when they start showing the video and all the dead horses and shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a long time. Yeah, now that makes me even more creeped out about it by my own memory. Thanks.
It was like you were on the verge of becoming that girl.
Oh, yeah, if I had died. Oh my gosh. Okay, see, this is why I like having you on the stream.
Why? What?
Because now I'm thinking, if I had died during that knockout game, that would be the legend. That would be the ring situation of my entire group of childhood friends.
Yep.
And I would be coming after them one by one, or whenever someone does the knockout game, they would see me there, and I would probably curse them or kill them or something like that.
Oh my
There's
god.
got to be a movie script in there somewhere. Come on, Netflix.
That's like a
Let's do that.
combination of The Ring, One Missed Call, and oh, what was that other one? It Follows.
Mm,
That's
yeah.
that's gross.
Mm. It Follows. That's one of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Really? I
Yeah.
didn't much like that one.
I loved it. It's the first time you see it, I mean, like the first time seeing it, having very little idea what the situation was with that. I didn't watch any trailers or anything.
Hmm.
Somebody said, "Hey, let's watch It Follows," and I was very very happy with it, impressed.
I liked the visual. I liked the jump scares. They were really good. But it was
Mm,
just the story arc. Is like once I actually figured out what the motivation was for, the thing, it just lost me at that point. I was
mm,
like, this is just coming from some prude's mind about sex, and I don't really dig that. So
yeah, I guess that's one way to see it. I never really thought of it that way. I thought it was just an unusual and interesting premise for for a supernatural thriller. Because the thing is, and the thing that I like about it is this: I always enjoy when stuff is there's kind of stuff left to the imagination. There's
yeah.
something left for you to wonder. Especially with the ending. I won't spoil it if anybody hasn't seen it, but not knowing if there was a resolution or what that resolution really is or what the creature or the monster or the enemy is really all about. This
Like
one,
its real origin. Yeah.
yeah, if there's one thing that takes me out of a horror concept, it's when the bad guy comes out and it's like, yeah, it was me all along, and this is why I did that, and this is why I did this, and then you can't do this because I'm like this, and I don't want to have everything explained to that extent.
I think that's because you're an imaginative person and you actually like to, you know, draw on what you've been told and then make your own story, further from
Mm,
that. So
yeah.
that's pretty cool. I don't know.
Raw.
I might give it another watch.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's up to you. It's not a life changing thing in my opinion, but as far as horror movies go, I'm a huge horror movie fan, believe it or not, but that is one of my favorites. Raul Sanchez says, "Isn't that the same thing as passing out in MMA when someone gets knocked out?" I've never been completely knocked out in a fight. I've been half knocked out where I literally seen the blackness swipe, like washing over my face, and I was able to pull out of that before I hit the ground, and I actually was able to stay on my feet.
Oh wow.
Took a really good, real good hit right in the face, and that's actually happened to me more than once. And it was rough, but that's an interesting thing. I'd like to know what people see, what a fighter sees when he is just decked, knocked out, like done. I really need to look into that now that you mention it. Sleepy Time asked, did a girl crawl out of the TV? No, not while I was sitting in front of it. Heather, greetings, my friend. Yeah, notification said I was thinking the four horses of death. The pale horse. That is, that's a common theme in a lot of the collective consciousness of our species, and it's something that I've thought of. I've considered. Like, I wonder if there's a reason behind seeing a white horse. I mean, it just looked like a white horse to me. It didn't look like any kind of supernatural entity, but very, very interesting. But oh well, yeah. Lex asked, why do you think the void was there? Being so young, shouldn't the mind have filled it with something else? That's a good question. But I think maybe it speaks to maybe the fact that the void is what it is. Like, no matter how old you are or who you are, that's a place that your brain, your mind takes you in certain scenarios. You know, the first ever moving picture was a horse galloping in 1878. Yeah, I've seen that. That's right. I have seen that. That's when they discovered the horse actually has all 4 feet off the ground at once during a gallop. Yep, I've heard that too. It's pretty interesting chat going on here.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, by the way, if you guys are watching this live stream or watching the video after the fact, make sure you hit that like button, just so I can see if you guys really are enjoying these live stream shows. As you know, I always say this, I don't really have a lot of time to sit down and write and produce the whole typical story videos that I used to. So I kind of trying to meet you guys in the middle, get a chance to hang out with you and talk for a while, a little bit longer periods of time, and more often. I've been doing this pretty much weekly now that I've come up with this much lighter format. And this way we get to comment on the stories and discuss them together. And if you haven't checked out my girl Nyx's channel, please do so, because Nyx is fantastic. We've known each other for almost the entire time that I've been on YouTube.
Yeah,
And
it has been a while.
yeah, it's like over 3 years now.
Oh my god. It doesn't feel like that.
No, and you know, and the funny thing is, because this is like maybe the second or third time that you've made a comeback, you know, a return appearance on this channel after a long time. And
yeah, it is.
Each time we do this, it's almost like you never left, you know, and I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, if you guys want to, you know, you want to hear about someone who's ride or die, I just told Nyx about this like an hour and a half ago, and she's down. She's like, "Yo, let's do it." I don't even know what we're doing, but let's do it.
Yeah, it's like you messaged me at like noon or something, and you picked the one day where I was like, you know what? To hell with this phone. I'm not even going to mess with it today. And then I just happened to pick it up, and I was like, oh, okay. We got like an hour. Sure.
Yep. And then even after that, I didn't then see your notification until like 15 minutes before it was showtime.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's when I was like, "Hey, sorry, I'm late, but are you still down?" And you're like, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah.
And that's dope.
Well, it's either like this or study, and I'm done with studying, so.
You got to rest those brain cells a little bit.
Oh God.
Let's see here. Phantom Knight 24. Yep, that Phantom Knight 24 is one of the old school ride or die dreamers as well. There's several of them in here. And he said it feels like a lot longer than that 3 years. Yeah.
Oh my God. Go down to Cindy. That is amazing. She was hit in the head when she was a kid and knocked out, and then she'd have seizures later on.
Oh no.
She said she'd be in complete darkness, but she could hear everything around her. Now that would be freaky. That would scare me.
That's terrifying. Do you still have that situation going on, Cindy? Because I know some people, once they start having seizures, like that's, you know, they're just epileptic throughout the rest of their life. I know someone, a kid that had that happen to them. Very sad. He's a football player. One day he just, I don't know if it was just that he fell over or hit his head or something, and had a seizure, and then after that it's just perpetual. Like every so often he just has seizures, and he can never drive. He can never freaking, you know, get a license, or there's a lot of things he won't be able to do because of that. That's very sad. I hope it's not afflicting you still. This is
That's
the
crazy.
link to Nix's channel. I'm going to put it in the description box as well.
Oh, thank you. Now, I will tell you all up front, I do
Subscribe.
not upload like every week. So sometimes you gotta wait.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have to be a
Responsible.
responsible adult and a YouTuber at the same time. Not that there aren't YouTubers who do both, but you have to be in a very small percentage of the population to be able to do this and not do anything else. Very small. Zucker, greetings, my friend. Thumbs up to you as well. All right. So, guys, we've been on for about 1 hour. I had about 1 hour scheduled for this stream, and I'm going to be signing off here in a second. But if you still feel like hanging out, I will be playing my next part of Resident Evil 2, the remake, for about another hour. If you guys want to hang out, I got
How
some.
far are you into the game?
I played it for about an hour and a half. The last stream,
Oh,
which was
you
about
better
a
be,
week ago.
that.
Oh, sorry, about a week ago, and
Oh, you
in the
got a
world is that?
donation.
Oh, Zucker. Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. $10 from Zucker. Very much appreciated. You're a serial donator. You and Jessica are my problem children when it comes to donations. And by problem, I mean the best problem one can ask for. You guys are really nice. Scarlet Witch. Oh, okay? Yep. You always catch me at the very last few minutes of a stream. But yeah, I'll be popping back on in just a few minutes as soon as I can set up my green screen and everything, which is pretty cool because it only takes a couple seconds to do that. Once I get everything set up, I will be back on, and new thumbnail, new description box, and all that good stuff. And Nix, are you going to hang out, or what do you want to do?
Sure, I can.
All right, so we need to come up with a code word for the end of this video. So whoever makes it to the end of this video, whoever's here now, and whoever in the future makes it to the end of the video to this point, because this live stream will be available to watch after the fact on my channel. Let's see. I'll throw this to the chat. Let's see if we can come up with a code word for this. Knockout. Good one, Logan.
That is pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, wait a
I
minute.
was
I
thinking
think
like bong water or something.
bong water. That's a little bit less PC than I'd like. Okay, wait a minute. Cindy said that she did get healed from those seizures about 3 years later. That's excellent news. I'm glad to hear that.
Ah, Code Veronica. That's good.
Code Veronica is my favorite Resident Evil game.
Really?
Yep.
I love that in Nemesis.
Yep, Nemesis is my second favorite one. But have you seen Resident Evil 2 the remake?
I watched the demo. I
It's
haven't seen
phenomenal.
anything further.
Yeah. Jessica, good night, my friend. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate you as always. Daddy Buckets. What is 2319? Not sure. Let's see. Okay, guys, I'm gonna sign off from here. Remember, go check out. Matter of fact, while I'm setting up my No Face 678. Good evening, good night, my friend. Awesome. Let me see here. What was I gonna say? Just threw me off there. while I'm setting up for my gaming setup, I want you guys to oh my goodness, it's throwing me off again, you guys.
Donation.
Phantom Knight 24 $10 donation. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everyone. See you next time, Mr. X. Good to see you again, Nix. From one of the true OGs who does actually remember you being on the streams all the time.
Yeah. It's like there's a lot of names that I just don't recognize, and I'm so sorry for that.
Well, you've been through a lot since that time.
Yeah.
Monsters Inc. Code Words 2319. Oh, yeah. Okay. We're going to go with Knockout. And do that in the comment section, not in the chat, but in the comment section. Yep. Jessica, you got to go to work. Have a good night, my friend. Obsidian Flame, good night. And you guys stay safe. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Get home safely every night, no matter what. And I will see you guys in a few minutes on my next stream, which is going to be Resident Evil 2, the remake, for about 1
Yes.
hour. Make sure, in the meantime, go over to Let's Read's channel. Check out that Axeman's animation over there that I helped a little bit with that. It's a collab. And we'll see you guys in a little bit. All right. Later. Oh, wait. I'm Mr. X, and may your nights be full of dreams. Almost forgot.
Bye, guys.
Yep. Don't forget, tune in. In about 5-10 minutes, I'll be back on Resident Evil 2.